Thody's American Adventures. In 2009, Peter Thody traveled from England to the United States for a road trip through the American South. 3 great byways, the Natchez Trace Parkway, the Historic National Road, and the Blue Ridge Parkway, provided the basic framework for the trip, a 3-week whistle-stop tour of 14 states and the District of Columbia. Thody captured the following images on his trip through West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. Across the Appalachians and on to New Jersey, by Peter Thody. Madonna of the Trail statue in Wheeling, West Virginia. 12 such statues, dedicated to the spirit of pioneer women, were erected in the late 1920s, along the route of the National Old Trails Road, now mainly U.S. Route 40. A rusting old Chevrolet and a long-since abandoned tractor succumbed to the weeds by the side of the distinctly rural section of the National Road that runs through West Virginia. Hatfield's Ferry, a coal-fired power station just outside Masontown, Pennsylvania. Greenpeace describes it as one of the worst polluters in the country, and one study suggests it could be responsible for over 200 premature deaths every year. Fort Necessity, a more picturesque setting for a battle, is hard to imagine. The French won this opening skirmish of the French and Indian War in July 1754, but the English were the ultimate victors, securing overall control of the North American continent, if only for a few more years. Book ahead if you don't want to have to hang around for an hour or two waiting for the next available tour of Fallingwater, Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural masterpiece. Or just take the self-guided walk through the woods that leads to this classic view. Erected in about 1833, LaVale is one of 2 toll gates on the Maryland section of the Old National Road. It would cost a horse and rider 4 cents to travel 10 miles, or for the same price, you could drive a score of sheep or hogs for 5 miles. In 1863, the armies of the North and South came together near the small farming community of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. 3 days later, 50,000 soldiers were dead or wounded. The presence of cannon and fences means much of the area looks just as it would have almost 150 years ago. A reenactment of fighting close to Cemetery Ridge, a critical stage of the Gettysburg fighting that saw Union forces repel an attack known as Pickett's Charge. By the end of the day, the Confederate forces were in retreat. This is an Amish buggy traveling through the town of Intercourse on the Old Philadelphia Pike, Highway 340. This is a thriving community. The Amish population in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, has almost tripled in the last 50 years. On a pleasant summer's afternoon like this, you could cross the Delaware River in an inflated car tire, but the icy waters of Christmas Day 1776 helped to write Washington's Crossing into the history books. More of Peter Thody's articles and photographs are online at www.roadtripamerica.com.